Jay, how was the seminar at the 2019 Fibo?
It's always great to sit up there with the champions and sit in front of the German crowd. And, you know, I've been coming to these stages for many years, although we've been in different locations, but always great reception here in Germany. And, you know, to sit there next to one of the guys that I battled for many years, you know, since the beginning of my pro career, and, you know, to sit here next to current Mr. Olympia, it's pretty awesome. Be part of both guys, you know, history is pretty cool.
Do you remember, Marcus, he was talking about this in German, do you remember it was 4 or 5 years ago when everything was looking like people don't care anymore about bodybuilding, they just care about the fitness YouTube stuff and like that. How do you see what was changing the last 2-3 years?
You know what, I've seen just new divisions come about, but it just, you know, with this year's event, I mean, our lines are still as crazy as ever. The fans are still, they follow the icons. I think the current state of bodybuilding, there may not be, I mean, I think some of the current guys can walk through here and not get as much a reception, but, you know, since we're so you know, relevant in the foundation of bodybuilding, I think that I haven't seen any effect on my career, but the current state is definitely suffering because I just don't think the current crop is as active as they possibly could be. Between social media, YouTube, all the platforms that are available to us now, I mean, the magazines used to create this aura about us, and they would create a character around each person to get into the personalities. And I think, you know, letting people in your living room and getting people to understand your lifestyle and your personality is super important. I think some of the guys are missing that opportunity by not being as vocal on their social media and really putting as much stuff out there. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't want to do that. They don't want to put out a lot of content, and that's understood. I mean, I was never an in-front camera guy, but I was smart enough to go out and put out my DVDs every year, which was my early social media, and allow people to understand what made me love bodybuilding so much, what made me love the lifestyle so much, and why today I still continue to be who I am, traveling event to event and still training 5 days a week, still following somewhat of a regimented diet, and really just trying to always stay challenged myself in the gym, not to be a big bodybuilder anymore. Listen, I competed for a living. I competed because that's how I financially supported myself, and I was very good at it for a long period of time. But for me, it all started with a hobby that eventually became a career and a successful one. And, you know, I never, like I said, I never planned on winning the Mr. Olympia, but I was one of the few that is able to do it because I just had the talent to do so. And I think there was a lot of factors that went into that. But, you know, just to allow people to, you know, sit there and get into my life and kind of see what makes me who I am, I think that's super important. And that's some information I would love to pass on to the current, newer generation coming up, no matter what division you're in.
That would be the next question. Do you see any difference between Open 212, Classic Physique, Men's Physique? I mean, we had the story with the guest posing with the board shorts, and Jeremy was really pissed about it. It was a big story. Do you see any difference between? Or?
You know what? I know these guys train hard, and I know Jeremy he got a little vocal because I think his feelings got hurt a little bit because he's not sure how Antoine's character really is, and it wasn't to make a mockery of Men's Physique. Jeremy's just super protective because he helped build that division, and obviously he's been the top, you know, 4 Mr. Olympia wins for the past few years until recently, and, you know, he has a lot of heart and soul into that. So I can understand his point, and I know Jeremy personally. He's not attacking someone like me. We're friends. I like that he's vocal about certain things, but at the same time, it became a war that was kind of unnecessary. And I think that it really wasn't a mockery. It was just more to show, like, kind of funny where, you know, guys that are overly developed are, you know, still getting in board shorts. Listen, the guys in board shorts, some of them have amazing legs. You know, Jeremy trained legs extremely hard. A lot of them do. So there's a lot of crossover. And I think those guys train just as hard. I think, you know, some of them are the younger generation. I mean, listen, I didn't win the Mr. Olympia until I was 33 years old. I was great at 22. I thought I was, you know, pretty much the same in those 10-year span. I just wasn't as refined enough to win the biggest title. So, listen, if I'm a new guy coming in, I would look more at the younger generation that's winning shows in classic and men's physique. Why am I going to be a bodybuilder? Wait until I'm in my 30s to actually start winning big things. Because listen, in that generation, today's generation doesn't win shows until you're in your 30s and you're more developed. The mass has become so much. It's years and years of consistency and density that wins a lot of competitions. Guys aren't winning shows as much at 22 years old, 23 years old. Kevin Leverone second his first Olympia at 25. I mean, Schwarzenegger winning his first, or Lee Haney winning his first at 22 years old. That is not happening in this day and age. So I don't blame these guys for being a little more lenient towards doing men's physique or classic. If I was a young guy, I'd look at that too for sure.
Thank you very much, Jay, and we hope to see you back in 2020 at the Fibo Power. Und wir hoffen natürlich auch ganz viele von euch hier live vor Ort zu sehen. You will be back?
I'll always be back to Germany. Love you guys and love what you guys are doing. Thank you.